Welcome back to the deep dive. We're the show engineered to, well, cut through the noise and get you genuinely informed fast. Today, we're diving headfirst into something that trips up a lot of people, even seasoned homeowners. The stunning, high value property that, well, it just won't sell. You know the kind I mean. It's got the curb appeal, the fancy finishes, maybe a great location, and yet it's just sitting there, collecting dust online. So, if you're a homeowner, maybe with one of these magnificent properties, perhaps one you've poured your heart and, let's be honest, considerable resources into, and you're wondering, why isn't this moving? Then you're definitely in the right place. Our mission today is pretty clear. Unpack the critical insights from our research, figure out the core challenges, and then this is key, reveal a strategic, actionable path forward. Think of this less like just listening to a show and more like getting a strategic blueprint. It's kind of a mix between a TED Talk and maybe a tactical briefing, with some surprising facts and, yeah, maybe a few unvarnished truths thrown in.
It really is a frustrating scenario, isn't it? And surprisingly common. And it's almost never just about the market. That's too simple. Imagine like a beautiful Ferrari, custom built, gleaming, parked right out front, looks incredible. But if there's no engine, it's not going anywhere. Right? That's often what we see with these luxury homes that aren't selling. The problem usually isn't the house itself. Our deep dive shows it's almost always, the messaging, the math, or the method behind the sale. Something's stalled. And that's exactly what we're going to dig into, help you figure out where that engine might be missing.
Okay, let's unpack that straight away, because one of the biggest pitfalls our sources point to, and it's a really human one, is pricing based on emotion, not strategy. But I have to ask, isn't it sort of natural for a homeowner to think, hey, I put $200 Ks into this kitchen and want that reflected? How do you really separate that personal value from, the cold market reality?
Oh, it's completely understandable. A very human trap, like you said. We pour so much into our homes, time, money, memories. We remember every single decision, every upgrade. But here's the thing. Our sources make crystal clear. Buyers, they just don't care what you spent. They really don't. They care what the property is worth to them right now in this market. So you're not selling the memory of installing that amazing home theater. You're selling its current market value.
Yeah.
And those two numbers, they can be worlds apart. When those expectations get misaligned, that's when you get silence, no offers.
Right. And it's not just about the dollars and cents, is it? There was a great line in our material. Let's be real. No one's buying your pool. They're buying how that pool makes them feel. So buyers are looking for that feeling, that connection. But it seems like sellers often take that feeling and just slap it onto the price tag directly. How do you capture that aspiration, that lifestyle, without letting your own, sentimental value inflate the price beyond what the market will bear?
That's the tightrope walk, isn't it? And that's exactly where a premium pricing strategy comes in. It's absolutely essential for luxury, and it's way more sophisticated than just looking at a couple of recent sales nearby. This strategy involves a really deep dive. You look at the active luxury competition. What else is out there right now? You analyze how your home's unique lifestyle upgrades. Maybe it's the view, the privacy, the smart home tech, how those truly set it apart. We have to look at potential appraisal gaps versus those, fuzzier emotional value drivers. And crucially, you have to understand the buyer psychology at different price points. What does someone expect for $2 million versus, say, $5 million? The expectations are very different. The whole goal is to build this compelling pricing narrative, a story that explains exactly why your place is worth this much. And just as important, create a little scarcity around it. It's about shaping demand, really, not just putting a number out there and, hoping someone bites.
Okay, so let's say you've got the pricing dialed in, you've done the hard work, separated emotion from market strategy, but the home is still sitting there. What's the next potential blind spot? Our research really highlighted this fundamental misunderstanding of who the ideal buyer actually is. It's not just about finding any buyer, is it? It's about finding the right one. What goes wrong when you miss that target?
You've absolutely hit on a core issue. It's what the analysis calls missing a buyer target. And it happens all the time. This could be like you've listed it saying it's great for families, but honestly, the layout, the finishes, they scream ultimate bachelor pad. Or maybe you're marketing really broadly, flyers, generic ads, when this kind of property needs a message that whispers to a specific few. The consequence, it's pretty severe. Our sources say no profile means no purpose, and that leads to no traction. If you don't really know who you're trying to reach, your marketing is basically, it's firing blanks, like trying to catch a marlin with a net designed for minnows.
That makes total sense. So like you said earlier, you don't just need a sign in the yard, you need strategy. That sign just tells people it's for sale. It doesn't target anyone. And for a luxury property, which is by definition a niche product, that kind of laser focus seems absolutely vital. What actually goes into creating that specific buyer
Yeah,
profile?
and this strategic buyer profiling, it has to happen before you even think about photos or writing the description.
Yeah.
It's foundational. It involves a deep analysis. Who are we really looking for? Is it a relocating exec who needs to be near the financial district? Maybe someone moving from a specific city or even internationally. Are they driven by prestige? Do they want iconic architecture, total privacy? Or are they maybe sharp investors looking for a certain kind of return or something unique for their portfolio? Getting this detailed profile, understanding their lifestyle, their needs, what motivates them, even how they like to get information that guides everything else. Every marketing dollar, every photo angle, every word in the description should be aimed squarely at that ideal individual.
Okay, shifting gears from strategy to how the home actually looks online. There was one line in our material that just jumped out. It was so blunt. Photos are mid. Ooh, ouch. For a luxury home, mid, meaning mediocre, isn't just bad. It sounds like a death sentence, doesn't it?
Mhm.
What exactly makes photos mid, and why is it such a huge deal, especially now when everyone starts their search online?
Oh, mid is absolutely fatal in luxury real estate. It means you've completely missed the mark. And honestly, it's way more common than you'd think. We're talking about basic technical flaws. Windows blown out so you can't even see the multi-million-dollar view. Angles awkward, making large rooms look small or cramped. Lighting dull or yellow, just sucking the life out of a beautiful space. And then there are the missed opportunities, like forgetting the drone shots for a property with amazing grounds or waterfront, or skipping the twilight photos that give that magical high-end feel. These aren't small things. They add up, and they scream average, and average for luxury. That's the kiss of death. Like our sources say, presentation drives perception. If your visuals look average, buyers will assume the property is average, regardless of the price tag.
It makes you think, doesn't it? What really stands out to you when you're scrolling online looking at homes? Because that initial scroll, it's brutal. It's either an instant, whoa, stop, let me see more, or just keep scrolling. You get maybe 2 seconds to make that impression in a crowded market.
That's exactly right. You get one shot. That's why the process we looked at emphasizes cinematic presentation. And they mean cinematic. Think of it like producing a short film about the home. We're talking professional, high-end video walkthroughs, maybe with a subtle voiceover pointing out key features, or just perfectly chosen music, something that pulls you through the space. It definitely means professional drone aerials, especially if you've got acreage, waterfront, or really unique architecture that needs to be seen from above. That tells a story. Virtual twilight photography is huge, capturing the home during that beautiful golden hour light. It adds so much warmth and, frankly, luxury appeal. But it's more than just pretty pictures. It's about lifestyle storytelling, showing the home in use, not just empty. You know, maybe a beautifully set table, a fire going in the fireplace, someone enjoying coffee on the terrace. It helps buyers imagine themselves living that life. The whole point is for every visual asset to trigger emotion and action. Paint that picture. Make them want that feeling.
You know, hearing about all these proactive steps, the pricing narrative, the buyer profile, the cinematic visuals, it really makes you wonder, what is the real difference between an agent who just lists a home, puts it on the MLS, versus one who truly launches it, especially for luxury? And what are the grim consequences when a listing just sits there and gets stale?
The difference is night and day. Monumental, just putting a luxury home on the MLS and kind of crossing your fingers. Our sources call that, pretty bluntly, a hopeful surrender. A true launch for a high-end property is like a product launch. It's carefully orchestrated, starts with that solid strategy, then you build buzz with teasers. Then comes the highly targeted marketing aimed right at your buyer profile. You need strong broker-to-broker buzz within the luxury agent network, sophisticated digital campaigns, and that curated story that builds demand before day one. You're not just listing it, you're genuinely opening a product campaign. You're creating an event around it.
Right. And the flip side, that hopeful surrender approach that often leads to the home becoming overexposed without results. You see it, don't you? A property hits, say, 90 days on market, no serious offers, and the only tactic seems to be another open house, often for the same neighbors. That's when it gets market stale with no comeback plan. And buyers start assuming there must be something wrong with it, perceived flaws, even if there aren't any real ones. It's been seen, it's been passed over, and now you're fighting this negative perception. It's a really tough spot.
It's incredibly tough. And that perception is hard to shake once it sets in. That's why, to fight staleness or better yet, prevent it, Multi-channel luxury marketing is critical. This goes way, way beyond just the MLS. It means running targeted campaigns on exclusive, curated luxury platforms. Think the real deal. Mansion Global, James Edition places where high net worth buyers actually look. It involves super precise geofence digital ads hitting affluent zip codes, maybe even specific neighborhoods, not just locally but nationally or internationally. We leverage things like Instagram and YouTube Reels, but with strategic, attention-grabbing hooks. Plus, direct personal outreach to a deep network of luxury buyers and agents. The goal is pervasive presence, not just visibility, making sure the right people see it in the right context. And, for some really unique, ultra-high-end listings, there's another powerful tool, the private access strategy. Sometimes the absolute best approach is just quiet confidence. This might mean setting up previews only under an NDA, or only doing private showings for thoroughly pre-qualified buyers. It could even mean strategic off-market exposure to specific investment groups or top buyer agents before it ever hits the public market. This builds exclusivity. It prevents the property from ever getting stale online. It maintains that aura of desirability instead of just being another listing people scroll past.
So if a listing has unfortunately gone stale, it sounds like the solution isn't just a quick refresh. It needs a full reset, like the sources say. New photos, new angle, new copy, and new energy. You're essentially relaunching it, giving it a completely fresh narrative, a total reboot. Okay, let's connect all these dots. Even if you nail the pricing, the buyer profile, the presentation, the launch, what about that final crucial stage? Negotiation and closing. That's where so many deals, even well-prepared ones, can still fall apart, right? What does a smart approach look like there?
Absolutely critical stage. And smart negotiation and closing is about being proactive, not reactive. It's much more than just haggling over the price tag. It starts way earlier. You pre-qualify interest before buyers even get serious, making sure they have the actual capacity and aren't just looking. You work to structure favorable timelines and terms for the seller, anticipating potential roadblocks. It means having all the paperwork, the disclosures, legal protections lined up in advance to minimize friction, smooth the path. It's about providing really high-touch, concierge-style service from the moment an offer is accepted right through to handing over the keys. Anticipate needs, solve problems before they blow up. The real goal isn't to play ping pong with offers and counteroffers. It's to shape offers strategically from the start, guiding them towards a swift, successful close that benefits your client.
Yeah, it's definitely not guesswork, is it? It
Hmm.
really sounds like this complex blend of market analysis, understanding buyer psychology, and just expert negotiation timing. It's kind of the final act where all that earlier strategic work pays off, securing not just any offer, but the best possible outcome for what is, after all, a unique and valuable asset. Wow, what an incredibly detailed deep dive this has been. We've really gone from pinpointing those common and, let's face it, often frustrating pitfalls, the emotional pricing, missing the right buyer, those mid photos, the passive listing, all the way to outlining a really robust, comprehensive strategy for selling luxury real estate. It seems abundantly clear selling a luxury property isn't just about the bricks and mortar, it's about selling a lifestyle, a brand, and yeah, in many ways, a feeling. And as our sources really drive home, it demands almost Marine Corps discipline to your listing process, real rigor. And remember, a great looking home, when you've maybe poured years of effort and resources into, it absolutely deserves a great outcome. So here's a final thought to leave you with. In this world where we're just flooded with information, endless options, is the greatest luxury really about what you see? Or is it maybe more about what you strategically make others feel and believe about what they're seeing? Think about how understanding these kinds of strategies, positioning, perception, narrative, might apply beyond just real estate to how any high value asset or product, or maybe even your own personal brand, is perceived. It's a powerful idea. Thanks so much for joining us on the deep dive.